Hi, I'm David Holladay, and I'm at a gathering called Rabbitstick. The original name was by a man named Larry Dean Olson, who's kind of the grandpa of a movement in modern times. That's about learning Stone Age living skills, or the skills that all of our ancestors, no matter where we come from, no matter what shape our ears are, what color our hair is, no matter what continent our ancestors come from, we all come from a common heritage. The theme this year is finding common ground. And so we are going back to basics. We're using an idea that although we're already teaching basic skills that people needed to live on planet Earth, we're going to go back this whole week to reminding people why we're learning these skills, maybe what they do for us. But the biggest part of gatherings like this is the diversity of people that show up. I used to laugh and say it was the white primitive skills revival, but now it's including everybody all over the planet. There was just one of these in the mountains of Utah in 1968. They lasted for a while, and then Dave Westcott revived it, asked Larry Olson for a chance to use the name Rabbitstick, and then started a gathering that's gotten really big now. And now I think there are 38 living skills, or it's a cross between survival skills, earth skills, just fun things to do that have to do with using natural materials to produce something. But all in all, it attracts a lot of people who aren't from the sticks. They aren't interested that much initially with being a mountain man or a mountain woman or an Indian or anything else that they think they're mimicking. They find out that it's theirs and that it's genetically theirs because everybody comes from this heritage. So one of the things gatherings like this do for people is reminds them of their humanity and their commonality with other people, regardless of where they come from. And so we get a lot of diverse types. I like to joke and say we have dumpster diving bush hippies, urban skater, hunter gatherers, college professors, who live in nice motorhomes when they come, and kids who crawl off in the willows and try to see how tough they can be by not having a blanket and not eating anything that comes from the store. So we have a big spread of types, and slowly we are also getting people from other countries, other backgrounds, and we're becoming a movement all over the planet. It seems to resonate well, this idea, with people who've been displaced generationally many, many times. So it started with Mormons in the Mountain West, and they kept their tradition of knowing how to run off into the hills if they ever got chased out of their house. And so the mountain man movement, lots of other things like that back in the 60s, everybody liked to take care of their gear and learn how to go camping and hiking. But eventually, Larry Dean Olson broke the modern technology chain and said, yeah, we're going to space and we got atomic bombs, but can anybody remember how to take care of themselves if they lost their gear? What would we do if all we had was our wits? Can we produce the tools it takes to survive on planet Earth from our knowledge of the original shopping center, the old time, go out and find raw materials and produce housing, food, clothing, all those things. If you want to know what we're about, try to go for a day without shoes and without a water bottle and without any food, and then say, well, what would you do if you had to fix that from your own knowledge base rather than going and having somebody else fix it for you? And so I try to remind people that found themselves without a drink of water in one of the wettest places in Louisiana, which is New Orleans, or people in New York City who always had everything they always wanted until 2 big buildings fell down, and then they found out their shoes weren't sufficient for the job of just walking away from ground zero. Their shoes wore out. Well, what if you found yourself in a non-resupply situation for long periods of time? That's kind of a fear-based reason for learning things. We all got into it, and all my friends, because we have fun doing this. This is not about surviving. This is about thriving and remembering who we are as human beings. So we get a lot of flack for calling it primitive skills. So I'm going to re-educate everyone to go back to the dictionary and look what English says about primitive. Prime. I want to be prime. Do you want to lick my toast and then have me eat it? No, I don't think I want it. But do I want to be the first person to take a bite out of that piece of toast? Yeah, me too. So first skills means the first one, the first thing you did, the first thing you know how to do. The original. So I want to be the original first, not second, third, or fourth, fifth skills. This isn't a fifth skills event. This is a prime skills event. What everybody on the planet was using to be here. Because we're born naked, without big enough claws, without enough hair, and without big enough teeth to support ourselves here. So we are forced into the tool making world. That's how we compensate for our weaknesses. Our strength was a brain that can figure stuff out, a heart that can be compassionate and cooperate with other people, so we can be a herd of beings that care about each other. That's what's kept us here on the planet, not the vote them off the island mentality. We're here because we take care of each other. So we're smart, we have big brains, we take care of each other, and we got tricky thumbs. We can do stuff with our hands. We can send messages from here to here so well that we now have a high technological development of tool sets at this point. Technology just means the study and use of tools. So we are studying the original things we learned, and why we got so good at making all these other tools is we understood the physics behind it by doing, not by studying with our heads, but by applying the physical principles to matter. All the hard things or physical things we can manipulate with our brains and our hands and our wits. But nothing that I know of, except for some moon rocks we brought back from the moon, which doesn't get used very much in our industry, nothing we have today came from someplace else. It's here because we created it from raw materials. The raw materials came maybe from all over the place. People say it's all just sunlight. But we took all that sunlight and shaped it and formed it and reconstituted it, remixed it, and we've got some pretty high-end, technically wizard-like items on the planet right now that are copying mostly our body parts. So the fanciest things, including these cameras that we're being filmed with right now, are mimicking not only our memory, our brain, they're mimicking our eyes and our ears. So in the original technologies, we were mimicking animal parts of animals that had tools that we didn't have. We needed claws to dig a hole or defend ourselves with. We needed teeth to rip stuff apart. We didn't have that ability to defend ourselves from the large predators. So we created tools that copied the same behavior. And we learned how to make them from sticks, rocks, and bones, and then use them to defend ourselves or to collect our food. And somewhere along the line, we switched out, and all those ages from the bone and stick, bone, wood, and stone ages, and then Iron Age, Bronze Age, Copper Age, Bronze Age, you name them all in order. Well, right now we're in the Information Age. So at one point, we were looking for hard, solid tools to get something done. The Industrial Age was copying our muscles. And from that time on, we've been copying some way to create either energy or store information. And right now we are living in the Information Age, which means we are learning how to take parts of the planet, reshape them, and turn them into things that mimic human brains. So we're copying ourselves at this point in our technological race forward. And some of the things that happen to people along the way is they forget how to be just happy and how to be a human and how to be on the earth. And so this movement is rehabilitating a lot of modern lost souls. And we aren't searching for something. We're kind of happy doing what we love doing. Well, if we are searching for something, we're searching for better ways to share what's brought good, solid, healthy life to ourselves. And so we're using cameras and all sorts of other stuff to send a message out to people who might not be lucky enough to be able to come here and be with us. So, or blessed enough.